Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to call the Board of Public Works meeting to order. First item on the agenda are the minutes from the last meeting. And there are 3 in our packet this morning.
Yes, there were.
I move to approve the minutes of the regular January 28th meeting.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes from the January 28th meeting as presented. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passed.
I'll make a motion to approve both the executive session and the special meeting on February 4th.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve both meeting minutes from the February 4th scheduled meeting. That includes the executive session and the regular session. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Any amendments to the agenda this morning? Not. Under new business, we do have change orders for the public safety building. There are 2 for consideration today. The first is the snow guard drain bar system. So in the roof system, one change that wasn't taken into consideration is the previous roof both had exterior fasteners and a sort of an abrasive finish to it, which we found out actually held the snow a lot better than this new EPDM roofing system. So what we need to do is install basically a snow guard to protect that gutter system. That change order is for $3,103. And the second is the conversation we had last meeting regarding the flooring, which we'd known about. So they had contacted the same installer for the rest of the flooring. That quote or bid was for $3,930.
That's to finish out fire and police.
Correct.
All the way to the front lobby. I guess it's 2 hallways and a small entryway.
Correct. It does not include the travertine.
No, right. Not the front entrance.
However, I did bring that to Etica's attention. They were unaware.
That was cracked.
Yeah. So
That's a start. It's cheaper than I thought it'd be, to be honest.
I don't know from a funding perspective, where could we pull dollars from?
I have, sorry. If we moved money around in CCD and moved it from other capital items that we had 35,000 in the budget for 2026 and move it to improve/repair building, which would be the total that I'd be moving would be 11,000, which is a little bit over what the 3 change orders add up to be.
So far.
Yeah. Because we had change order number 2 was 3942, change order 3 is 3103, and change order 5 is 3930, which was 10,975.
What percent are they done with the project?
I
Just had a guess.
know the expected finish date was the end of April. 70%.
Are there any other big change orders that we see coming up? I mean, you can never say never.
The one discussion we've had is around the electrical. So
Yes.
what we've discovered is the way that building was wired, a lot of the neutrals are all tied together, which doesn't comply with current building codes. I can't comment on what building codes were when the building was constructed, but that's actually leading to some issues. So trying to problem solve through that, one of the change orders that was discussed in the email that was in your packet, change order number 7, proposed rewiring the building because of this. So that would have been about a $14,000 expense. I think we can we found an alternative to that, so we don't have to go through that expense. Some of the trouble too is we're somewhat hoping that this is a temporary structure still. That we understand the changes within each department has probably necessitated a new structure. So I don't necessarily want to continue to throw good money after a bad building, band-aiding it. So that's the only other one that I can think of that's been discussed.
What's the number 6? It says consider that a future meeting.
It's the permanent power. It's this one.
Oh, yeah, permanent power.
Also for the ERVs. So that's the other one that they're troubleshooting. It's all electrical required. In the electric panel, they were out of space. So they're trying to figure out how to add capacity with the new box. That change order was $1,619. The only two that I've been made aware of, and a high degree of confidence, we can bypass number 7 with number 6's execution.
So do we need a motion to move money, or will the council have to move money first out of CCD?
No, they require council action to do that.
The transfer I was just talking about. Yeah. Hang on. The transfer I was talking about from other capital items to improve/repair building does not need a resolution or anything. It's just a transfer.
Doesn't need anything done by the Board of Works either.
You can just approve your change orders and I can know where to.
So we've already approved number 2.
Yep.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to approve the 2 specific change orders, number 3 and number 5.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve change orders number 3, the snow guard drain bar installation, and number 5, the flooring replacement for corridor 122. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving to department business, cemetery and park. Diana. Good morning.
So for the cemetery, we had 6 burials, no cremations and no sales last month. Just to let you know, we fully staffed March, weather permitting, March 1st of April. We have a new hire starting in March. That's all I have to send you.
Okay. Park.
For the park. We did get the new piece of playground installed, piece of equipment. I think so far, positive feedback. Working on the 5-year master plan for compliance. There's some things mentioned in there that I was able to purchase, so we should be getting those in the next 6 weeks or so. All concerts have been scheduled for the summer series, and I mentioned at the last meeting we were having some problems with the lighting at the park. That has been resolved and all of those are working. As far as staffing goes, we had one staff member who decided to retire, so I'm just gonna move his hours. Another person's willing to take it. Vacancies obviously still watering the plants downtown. And pretty much at the park.
How would you grade the condition of the light poles around the park?
There's a couple that are split that the utilities is aware of, so they're gonna be replacing that, but it won't be with the concrete type,
Mhm.
black.
Okay.
They have up to, they're similar to the ones we have up to.
At a cost to you?
No, I don't think so. He hasn't mentioned that. Joe hasn't mentioned that.
You could chop the rest of them down and because we'll
The
have to replace them all.
bases of those cement poles, there's a little bracket or cover.
Mhm.
A lot of those are missing, so we've had to tape, I know that sounds pretty tacky, but we've had to tape those on. That's been like that for a long time.
Mhm.
So, and the globes, I know they don't have any replacement for the globes.
Yeah, I just knew with the concrete that at some point, I think we had that issue at the golf course, that
Yeah,
water intrusion and ice.
and then maybe if we got nickels, we could put light at the top, so we have more power.
Plugs like we do in downtown.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
If you can get that done, she would love it.
I would. I've only asked for that for like 10 years.
Do we know how much it would cost to
I think the
replace all the
poles,
light poles?
these basic style, they aren't exactly as decorative as downtown, but I think they were about 1,000 a piece,
How many are?
18 in the park.
I don't know.
How much to get the ones down?
I know that one time we were thinking about putting lights at the back of the ball diamonds. We weren't gonna
Yeah.
put ball diamonds there.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were total, there was 3 of them. I thought that it ran around 5,000 for the 3, but that was
1,500.
a few years ago too.
Yeah, and I think those would have been a decorative. I think those are
Yeah.
5,000 a piece.
5,000?
The decorative downtown ones.
Those are 5,000?
I think when labor and material.
So if we went with the nicest for 18, it'd be 90,000.
But the ones that I think maybe the golf course has one installed, it's just a sleek pole. It's black with the lantern at the top.
They have electric access at the top.
I'm not sure if the park or the golf courses do, but I'm sure that's an add-on that we could.
I was thinking we could price it out just so we could have knowledge. Maybe we can ask TMU to, hey, you were going to replace some of these, would you pay for some of it?
Mhm.
And then you would have the information whether or not you want to include that in the possible extra funding we
Oh,
have for the
sure.
park bond. I think it would go a long way. I know it'd help a lot with the Christmas stuff and
Mhm.
The globes are plastic that's on these out here. So when we had the wind on a month and a half ago, we lost one. So I called them and they said that they didn't have anything to replace it other than the one I had found out in the middle of the park. And
yeah,
it was broke, so
so it could be nice
So
to
you
find
taped it
something.
together?
I taped it together.
So find something that may be more durable or
Clear tape at least, right?
more universal to be changed out.
Yeah.
Just something to think about.
Anything else?
Not for me.
Ready for spring?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay. Cemetery Park. Planning Enforcement Division. I guess my question I might ask Paige, from the code enforcement, we're pretty slow on code enforcement at the moment, correct? So what we have continued to work on, and I can offer an update since we don't have a lot of action items on enforcement so far, is this portal that we are building for the reporting tools. That's in process right now. They're building out the back-end dashboard, and I think their goal is within the next month to have I'll call it a test product for internal to test. So that's continues to be the timeframe they're working on. Unless there's questions for Paige.
We, we set out when you started with a list of properties, and some of those we dealt with, and some I think just kind of fell off. Is there like one specific problem property, probably residential, maybe that's easier, that we could use the system and test it, or just make it a goal like, hey, by end of Q1, let's have this. I mean, I can think of 10,
Mhm.
but just one. Let's just start with one, so Paige can get used to it. I know it's different in grass and.
Sure.
And just say, let's focus on this one abandoned property or problem property.
Yeah.
See if we can get it dealt with.
Is there one that comes to the top of my
Yeah,
head?
well, yeah, there's a lot that come to the top of my head, but some are a little more problematic, I think, than others. We had the one on Deal Street. It kind of came up and then it went away. There's always, I think it might need to involve the health department. Lots of trash everywhere.
Mhm.
It's a fire hazard. If you look in the garage, it's just packed full of stuff. And the garage is always open. So this stuff is just pouring out. But that's just one. I mean, if we find another that you think is more important. But I think if we went and looked at that list, some of those have been dealt with.
Yeah.
The one on 4th Street had the best outcome.
Mhm.
Property got sold, divided into 2 lots in a really nice house.
We had the one on Washington, that
Yep.
vacant home that got demoed.
Yep.
Nice.
At
I'm
the,
working on 423 Sweetland with Matthew Spencer.
Yep.
I'm working on that with him. Right now, we're just waiting on Miller Pipeline to get out there and disconnect the line, but they're kind of waiting on weather. So.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing we're waiting on to move forward. And that's been a back and forth with Centerpoint and Miller Pipeline. And I've been on the phone with 3-way calls. And
is he uninvolved at this point?
no, he's very involved. He's been actually emailing me pretty frequently every time there's an update with Miller Pipeline, Centerpoint, this, that, or the other. He just doesn't. He's not local.
Right.
So, I think a week or 2 ago, January 27th, I think, I mailed out the full demo permit for him to fill out because all he had from the county was just the signature portion for the sewer and gas and electric. So the only signature we're waiting on is Miller Pipeline,
Okay.
and we should, after that, we'll be a go. Once that permit gets turned in.
And you feel like, is he still going to demo it or?
To my knowledge, he has somebody lined up to do
Okay.
that.
That would be an awesome option too.
Mhm.
Okay. That sounds like we got one then.
It's true.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that open case. It's been, I'll speak on behalf of Paige, that one has been unnecessarily difficult. Whereas you contact Centerpoint to disconnect, and like, no, we don't handle that. Miller Pipeline handles that for us. And then Miller Pipeline, while they're in the community doing a ton of work, difficult to get scheduled for this. So, okay. So I guess we'll keep tabs on that one, working through these cases. But there are a couple. We've got the one on North Condi that we saw demoed, but the rest of the property still remains problematic, and the
Yeah.
property to its south is still problematic. So
Yeah.
there are some of these that are still on our list that we'll keep tabs on.
Get ready.
I'm ready for it to pick up a little bit. So.
Thanks, Paige. Municipal Services, Dylan.
For the month
We are
of January,
ordinance
we're
review.
in regular trash recycling yard waste.
Oh, you got
You got your streets? Because I didn't get mine.
I brought them with me today.
He's,
Keegan has,
I was ordering you.
yeah, I was a little behind. Plowed city streets and sidewalks, patched some potholes, and then removed all the Christmas decorations along with the banners. Trash for the month of January, we had 109.61 tons. Recycling 25.83 tons, and then we had 6 roll-offs. I don't have the final bill for the tonnage on that. Just performance recognition, I just want to say, we did have a significant amount of snow in January. I know in just one event, we had 10.7 inches. That is a lot for our small department, so I think we handled that fairly well.
I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Okay. Folks visiting from outside the community were impressed with the condition of the street, so they wished their local community.
I
looked
think
as
the thing
well.
that was different and better this year was we didn't leave mountains of snow all over downtown.
Yeah.
Which creates huge parking problems, line of sight, like this one was a line of sight problem, but you guys cleared it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the past, especially prior to you, Dylan, we took them to the
The
pool,
pool, yeah.
which is fine, but I think a lot of times we left several of them in town.
I do want to say TMU did help us with the hauling. They have a dump truck and a guy and their backhoe that they did help us move a lot of these big piles out. Let's see, I'm not sure I really have anything else. I do want to mention I'm working on a sidewalk trip hazard remediation on Madison Street. It'll go from Main all the way to 4th Street. I've got a company that's gonna come in probably in the spring and remove all the trip hazards. Trageser is going to install ADA curb ramps at all the locations on Madison that currently don't have them. And this is in preparation for NDOT's 2028 project on Jefferson. We'll see how that goes. Just to give you a little update on West Street. West Street is 99% done. We've just got a few punch list items that have to wait until spring. East Jackson and Independence. The storm sewer is installed on Jackson. They are starting on Independence this week. So from Jackson to South Street on Independence will be closed this week. That'll take, weather dependent, that'll take, probably close to a month to get the storm sewer installed with all the inlets and manholes. But they've been able to get a lot done this winter, which will help us finish early, maybe mid to late spring, being able to pave everything and get it done. Salt storage barn, I'm still in the process of getting those permits complete. I did have to, I've submitted the design construction release through the Department of Homeland Security. I had to hire an engineering firm to come do an inspection once the building's done to get that permit. So that's done. I'm just waiting on them to sign off on the permit so we can hopefully get started on that project early spring. And then I think the last project I have going on is Main and Dearborn. Trageser has got most of the sidewalk poured. We're just really waiting on weather to finish out that project. I don't think I have anything else.
Questions for Danny?
Have we lost like any odors or trash cans damage during any of these storms or?
Not that I'm aware of. We've lost a few in the truck, and that's just from the truck dropping them, but actually getting damage from the weather, I haven't noticed any.
Okay.
We haven't gotten any calls. Our biggest issue that we've ran into with trash toters and them coming up missing is rental properties. I don't know what happens to them. I don't know if neighbors see them move out and they go across there and grab it, or if the renters take it with them, or I don't know. But we get a lot of phone calls about renters moving in and there not being a trash or recycle toter.
But that's only for units 3 or less.
Yes.
Do we charge landlords for new toters?
No.
I should.
Yeah, that's definitely a conversation that needs to happen because it's repeat offenders. And we've went around to, other properties that they own, and we have found, because we write
Toters
down,
being shuffled around or?
yeah, we write down toter numbers and where they're supposed to be, and they definitely get shuffled around.
The TMU take responsible for the street lights downtown,
They are.
the poles?
Yes.
I just noticed I drove through town the other night, there were a lot of them that were not lit up.
Yeah.
There's several of them that are dark now, and I'll go to the next utility meeting and complain.
I'm actually working with, it's with TMU and Omni Electric. So Omni, interesting enough, they support local communities in their downtown lights. So they manage Carmel's downtown street lamps and other communities. So we're trying to figure out, because we're having such significant issues with ours, and what does that relationship look like? And
Well, I just drove through town the other night and there were a lot of them out and it
One-
bothers me that the light bulbs are different and the
Colors.
lights, yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
that's
I
just me.
suggested a light audit. I think it was like a year ago, the TMU meeting was like, just do an audit of all your lights. And one of the issues on Jefferson was they're not sure if Midwest did it by accident or whatever, but someone hit a conduit under one of them and it knocked out like the whole block.
Yeah,
It was
there
off for a while.
It was at the corner of Jefferson and Court.
Yeah.
Luckily, in 2028, all of those will be replaced
Along Jefferson.
along Jefferson. And the wire will be put in conduit and it won't be under the brick. And
Yeah.
It'll be a lot better. We just have to manage it until then.
Until it's gonna be here for you now.
Oh, yeah.
the only thing I'd give you maybe to keep our conversation going on the wheel tax analysis, you brought that up. So let's try to have that conversation somewhat soon, so we can refresh my memory on what that analysis is, and it'll require council action if that's the route we pursue. But keep that conversation going.
One other thing, the last thing I have on yard waste. I am in conversations with Keegan. I'm sure you guys know we did not get the DNR grant for the yard waste toters that we were gonna do. But I would like to implement just a trial, whether it be 50 houses or 100 houses, just a trial and see if yard waste toters is the route to go. So I'm looking maybe to implement that early spring. I'm gonna order 50, 100 toters and,
Do we have extras around?
oh yeah,
Would you just change the lids out on one?
change the
you have?
lids to green.
You can just do District 4.
Well, so there's a couple ways we can do it.
That's the way to advocate for your district. That's good.
We can do it on a, like a volunteer basis if, they want to sign up for it. Or the other route I was thinking is if, we have different yard waste routes Monday through Friday. So it may be nicer to have just one route, say Monday, have the yard waste toters. So then we can actually see if it's,
More efficient.
More efficient.
Yeah.
because if you have, say you have 50 and they're, one on Monday, 5 on Tuesday, you really can't tell.
Yeah, I would pick neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't pick my neighborhood or Ken's only because there's not a lot of trees, not a lot of yard waste, so people might not use it that otherwise
If
would.
you want to start in two, I mean, I would suggest you
Lot of
try to
trees.
start with the properties that have dumped grass in the street.
Yeah.
That would be my first.
That's a good idea.
There's several properties around town that don't have alley access.
Yep.
That dump grass, and there was 3 of them right there where I used to live. Well, Joe,
Mhm.
it creates problems. Grass does.
And no, just Joe creates problems.
Joe, no, I didn't. I didn't say that.
That's what you said.
That's not what I said.
So,
That would be the first. That'd be a great place to start.
Where we know there's an actual problem and
Yeah.
Next question. What do you do with that? So if you pick one up, you put it, you have a special container for that, or where does that go?
so
Is it gonna go in a
well,
garbage truck or
I guess answer that and then
yeah, realistically, if we could go to yard waste toters across the whole town, yes, we would collect those with the rear load trash truck. That truck can run down the alleys, we can bring the tow to the truck, dump it. But once we've collected all the yard waste, we're working with Caldwell. It's a facility that will bring us dumpsters, and we'll load these dumpsters with the yard waste and they'll haul it out instead of piling it out there and then in a year and a half having to grind it up.
so they're a professional composting, well, amongst other things they do, but the convenience to us is they would just give us a dumpster, we fill the dumpster and then they haul it off and bring us a new one, and that way we don't have this growing mountain of debris. Yeah.
Thanks, Dylan.
Tiffin Arts Commission. Anna.
Yay.
Oh, wow.
Good morning.
You're not supposed to show your favorites.
Oh.
That's invisible.
Well, I would have done the same with Chad.
That's true. Well, I'm excited to tell you that we have 2 projects that are off the ground, I guess, in that they are actively seeking artists to work with. So 2 projects. The first we're calling Downtown Canvas, which is vinyl covering of storefront windows. We're starting with the Compton Building, 202 and 208 on Jefferson, and wrapping basically the side window all the way through the front and across that right now plywood covered window. And what we're going to do there is basically create a mural with a few different images as well as poetry from folks around the region and even broader from around the state. But that's going to be a nice, really like durable mural covering that hopefully just brightens up that corner, brings some interest and life into downtown.
Mhm.
And the vinyl covering is perforated, so light comes through really almost exactly as it would without anything covering it, but you won't be able to see inside unless there's something illuminated inside and you can see from the outside. So timeline on that is right now we're seeking artworks from artists, just existing artworks. Anybody can submit anything. Just simply email us the artworks and we'll select those in a few weeks by the end of the month and then get those folks under contract. We'll just license those images is basically how that works for a couple of years. The mural will probably last about 2 years. It can come down anytime it needs to.
Have you had many submissions?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Chad told me that he would, well, you were pleased with how
Yeah.
many submissions you've had already.
Definitely. Yeah. Folks are hungry for artists are hungry for work. So it's when you give them a great opportunity, we get some good stuff here.
Good.
But that'll be installed. It goes up really quickly. Like it'll go up in a day once the guys get the right weather. It'll go up in probably March or April.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Good.
that's Downtown Canvas. The second is called the Tipton Welcome Sculpture. So we've evolved a little bit from signage almost into a different, think of it like almost like a landmark, right? Folks who are driving into the city are going to experience a piece of artwork that will say Tipton in some way, but it is much more like a sculpture, like a piece of artwork than like a sign. So that right now has an RFQ out for it. So we are soliciting designers, fabricators, artists from around the nation. And they will submit their portfolio, and as a commission, we'll narrow that down into a few finalists, and then we will compensate them to create designs. And we'll give some feedback on those designs, and we'll have a final design selected at the end of May, most likely.
And location?
Oh, great question. So the vision is that there are multiple of these in different entry points around the city, and we are starting with the west side of the city on 28 at, I think it's 350 South, right there where the new power station is, basically. Yeah. So folks coming in from 31 on 28 will experience that. Hopefully that'll be fabricated and installed by the end of this calendar year. That's our intention. These are both pretty big projects, especially the welcome sculpture is pretty big undertaking. So there will be some changes along the way, but
Lessons learned.
yeah,
Yeah.
We're excited. So we'll be managing that whole process and keeping you updated. But as always, we meet the third Wednesday of the month at the library, 6 o'clock. And so if you're interested in seeing any of those designs or just keeping more up to date on that, drop in.
When did you say on Wednesdays?
Yep, the third Wednesdays of the month at 6 o'clock. The vision is, though, that even in this particular project, that we won't just have one sculpture created, but we'll have that artist create almost like a design scheme for other areas as well. So if you think about one sculpture, and it could be anything, right? There's not anything in particular that we're going for to design or aesthetically right now.
Yeah.
But there are, we hope that there's like elements of that repeated possibly in other spaces, whether it's literally like a copy paste, same sculpture, or if it's a smaller version, or if it's same colors or shapes or materials or things like that.
There's
So,
some thematic
Mhm.
element.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that artist will create that kind of design scheme aesthetic for us as well. And hopefully we'll continue cranking those out over the next several years, depending at least if we still get along after.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, what questions do you have?
Something we've talked about for 12 years, 15
That's
years.
a
so
while.
I can remember. So it's cool to see it come on.
Thank you for all your work.
Of course, thank you for putting some resources behind it and making it go.
Thanks, Anna. Mayor's report, spent some time last week at the State House. Started with the Mayor's Roundtable in downtown Indy. We transitioned to the State House. So it's a pretty grim day as we met to review current legislation. This is a session that was preempted by, this will be a non-contentious, quiet session that has quickly evolved into not that. So continue to chat with other mayors, understanding what solutions or opportunities they're pursuing or ways in which they plan to manage some of these changes. So that's been helpful. And in fact, I've had some conversations last week on some ideas that at least probably need to start chatting with you, Nate, about because they'll require some council action into this year. We've continued to have, with Colin's help, have really had an uptick, I'd say, in some economic development interest prospects reaching out. And I'm waiting actually on a home builder to reach out today who contacted me over the weekend. So while I think the state and the state revenues that they've changed are happening, we as a community are starting to see what we've always assumed was coming, this growth. Now that it's charging pretty aggressively at 31, it now feels like we're starting to get some of that interest from home builders and or economic development prospects. So excited that we're having these conversations. Now Colin and I discuss nearly daily on what are the strategies now to make sure we can take advantage of as many of these opportunities that make sense for Tipton, but encouraged by all that nonetheless. That's it for me.
That's the name of the game. Income tax now.
Correct. And yet the legislature seems to dissuade you from doing single family homes. It's strange.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
We adjourn.
Second.
motion and second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.